if they have a behavioral health issue after spending a night in a jail. So that's a huge issue in our community, and I'm very encouraged to see that the commissioner is wanting to talk about it, because we are so under-resourced, not just here, across the state and across the nation, on taking care of people who have mental and behavioral health challenges and getting them into care early so that they don't end up in a psychiatric emergency center or at the state hospital. So that is one of the things that we do at JPS, and we are proud to serve that role in this community. We have a courtroom within the hospital so that when the officers bring people and we can do the warrants and serve them and get them in to get help quickly, and that we can get the officers back to where they need to be and get people help as quickly as possible.
Do you have to be a policeman to get into that facility? I mean, to have a policeman take you there, or can a parent take their child there?
We have people who bring themselves to us.
Okay.
And it's one of the challenges we have at the hospital, because our emergency room is on one side of the campus. Our psychiatric emergency center is on the 10th floor of the patient tower, which is across the street and up, and our inpatient behavioral health is on the other side of the campus. So you will have people who come and say, I need to go to the 10th floor, and of course we're happy to take them there, but they may show up at the emergency room where they really need to be in the psychiatric emergency room, or they may have a physical medical problem that needs to be taken care of first before we actually admit them to the hospital. The layout is terrible for the patient, for the providers, and for the public, frankly, that this is how it is. It's one of the things that we hope that we will be able to address should we have some new facilities in the future one of these days. Yes, Ellen.
And so I thought it was interesting to learn that because you don't have enough behavioral health beds when you're overloaded, then you have to farm those out to private psychiatric hospitals. And so taxpayers pay whatever the rate is at private psychiatric hospitals that JPS can't take.
That is very true. You were paying attention that day. That is exactly true. We also have a facility that's located off property that is a 36-bed local alternative commitment facility. So these are folks that are waiting to go to the state hospital, and they are generally a lot longer term stay than what we see in our normal inpatient hospital. And they are sometimes with us for a month or 2 months before they can actually move on to the next level. And a lot of those are in because there's criminal behavior attached to what got them to us in the first place.
Where's the state hospital? I thought they had closed every state hospital. It's in Wichita Falls.
Still there.
Can I just clarify, just for y'all, it has nothing to do with mental health, but MCA is a trauma 1 hospital here in Arlington. So.
No, it is not a level 1 trauma.
Okay.
We've
been told that?
I believe it's a level 2.
Okay.
THR in Fort Worth, and the one here is, I believe, a level 2 trauma.
Okay.
We just got recertified.
All right. Well,
yeah. I was told that too, Lana, so I don't know where that's coming from. But.
Yeah. No.
I remember on their marquee, it used to say something like level 1 for heart or
I think
something.
they are certified
Cardiology.
for some other of the Joint Commission certifications in the college.
Great strides in that whole complex over there.
Yeah, but
Okay, just.
it would be great if there were another one. There's plenty to go around. It's very expensive to be level 1 because of the doctors and the education and all the stuff you do. So it's quite a commitment, and to be recertified every 3 years is also. But
Are you going to talk about sepsis also?
yes, so we are certified by the Joint Council for 4 different levels of care. We're the only public hospital in the nation that is certified for level 1 trauma, for AMI, or acute myocardial infarction, otherwise known as a heart attack, stroke, and for sepsis. Sepsis is really the most difficult one. Sepsis is a full body infection. You get, I mean, everything just shuts down, and 40% of the people who turn septic die. That's the national average. We are certified in care for sepsis, and our number is down, let's see, the last time I looked at, we were at 12%. So it's because of the coordination between our emergency department and our ICU. The thing about that is you have to identify it quickly, and you have to do that coordination of antibiotics and work and whatever else it takes to be able to take care of that. But we're very proud of all 4 of those certifications. So stroke is the same thing. It's time, you know, it's how quick you can get in and to care. So, and we have a number of great stroke centers in Tarrant County, and I wouldn't be surprised if you don't have one of your hospitals here certified for
But
stroke.
I wonder
care.
if they have neurologists on site or whatever for strokes. You know, because that's so important. You just have a golden hour to treat somebody that's having a stroke. And you need to get that clot-busting drug in
Yeah,
them immediately.
TPA.
And
If it's an ischemic stroke, yeah.
yeah.
Well, when you have all these facilities, which one is the one to go to first?
Well, a lot of that is, well, if they're bringing you in on an ambulance, a lot of that will be, you will certainly have a say of where you want to go, but most of the time, if you're in that condition, you are not able to speak. There's a regional coordination of all of the emergency rooms in this area, and it will be closest or the best for what you have. It depends on time. If you're bleeding out, they're going to get you to the closest one they can get you to, or air flight you. But there is a tremendous communication that goes on between all of the hospitals in this area about which is the closest and the best for you to get there.
That's good to know.
There's a lot more cooperation and collaboration that goes on between the hospitals than I think really the communities recognize, because we need each other. We absolutely need each other. If JPS weren't here, we had 1.2 million patient encounters last year. Think about that. 1.2 million patient encounters. Some of those are repeats of people, and some of them are counseling as opposed to full-blown being admitted. But if we weren't here, what kind of pressure would that put on Medical City and THR and USMD and all the other healthcare facilities in this community? It would be overwhelming. And so we do rely on each other. We have to work together. JPS is not in the business of competing with those other hospitals. There's plenty of patients to go around. We don't have to be in that business. There are some things that we do well, and we're proud to do it. But we see anywhere from 1,500 to 1,700 behavioral health patients a month at JPS that are coming in through that psychiatric emergency center. That's a lot of people that need help. Our emergency room was built in 2008 to accommodate about 160, 170 patients a day, and we're averaging 350 patients a day now. And it's because of the growth in the community. This is a great place to live. We know it. We've stayed here. We enjoy it. But growth has its downside as well. And it puts pressure on everything from our school districts and our transportation and our air quality and our water and our public health care system. And so that's something we need to start talking about seriously, is how are we going to respond to that and the growth that comes into this community. And fortunately for us, we have a board of commissioners at the court who decided it's time to have that conversation. And so a year ago, they put together a blue ribbon citizens committee, 12 people representing all of the precincts throughout Tarrant County, who spent a year looking at what does the future of healthcare look like in Tarrant County, and what role does JPS play in being able to serve the needs of the population. They brought in outside experts, these sort of futurist visionaries, to look at the growth that happens here. We had a 75% increase in our population in Tarrant County from the year 1980 to the year 2000. It happened again from 2000 to 2010. We are seeing it just shoot up like crazy. All of those people aren't healthy when they get here, and they aren't all moving to the same community, and they don't have the same economic status. Just like their kids have to be educated, and they need water, and they need jobs, and they need homes, and they need health care as well. How are we as a community going to be able to handle that? So they looked and they made some recommendations. So we already have more than 40 locations throughout Tarrant County, which a lot of people don't know of because they just think of the hospital. But we have 17 adult primary care clinics. We call them patient-centered medical homes. You have one of our beautiful ones here in Arlington, in southeast Arlington, off of
Arkansas.
Yeah, it's southwest Arlington, we call it southeast Tarrant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Arkansas and Cooper. And it's a patient-centered medical home. It's sort of a one-stop shop. Previously, we had numerous locations here in Arlington, and so women and children's went one place, and you had primary care another place, and you went pharmacy somewhere else, and it was all spread out. Now, it's all basically in one area where you can get all your services. But a patient-centered medical home is more than just the building. It is the team approach to providing health care. So not only do you have a medical provider, but you have access to somebody with behavioral health, women's services, a dentist, a nutritionist, a case manager, because what we're trying to do is keep you healthy so you don't have to come to the hospital. And that's the future of healthcare, truly is. It's that population health, managing those chronic conditions, keeping you well before you do develop them, having a relationship with a care team who can take care of you, and so you don't get sick and come to the most expensive place there is to get care, and that's a hospital. We have 19 school-based clinics where we have clinics located on the campuses of public schools in 13 different school districts, and we have 3 here in Arlington. Any student that goes to school there, any one of those students' siblings up to the age of 22 can get their primary health care at one of those school-based clinics, which are open year-round. They don't follow the school calendar. They're open year-round. So we have an opportunity of helping children get eyes and teeth checked, and if they are coming down with something, taking care of it early. But yes, ma'am.
How long has this been available?
We've had them around, I didn't bring the dates with me.
I mean, just in general, just.
I think the earliest one started in the 90s. And it was, I think it was Vita.
Didn't tell anybody?
Vita Knox. It was the Vita Knox, I think, was one of
Yeah,
our first
Ferguson
ones.
has them, yeah, it's very common.
There's 3 different ones. And this is a part of our challenge is how do we connect with the parents of those schools to let them know about them, because we can't get direct contact.
Is there any reason the schools wouldn't tell them?
I don't know. I would love to know that. I think you're going to see an increased focus on those schools coming, because one of the findings of that Blue Ribbon Committee was there has to be more active partnerships with the community to know about this. So they say we need more adult primary care facilities in the county, but one of the things that was clear from that committee, and I keep looking at Mary because she works for the commissioner, is we have to be more assertive about our collaborations and partnerships in the community to let people know that they're there. So, yeah, there you go, surprise. Yeah.
I'm dismayed.
Well, here's my challenge,
No,
and I'll be honest with you.
I'm not
I have no
surprised, I'm
marketing. I have no marketing budget. So, because even if I did, we wouldn't be spending taxpayers' dollars to put glossy brochures or billboards on the
Nor
line or
should
anything
you,
like that.
nor should you.
But we do, we have a very aggressive digital social media campaign, but I can't reach that, I'm not reaching that demographic with what I'm putting out there to let them know that we have these services. So we're doing the best that we can, given that we have no marketing budget, and I'm not complaining. I think we're doing a tremendous job frankly, on the adult side, we have more patients than we can say grace over at the hospital. But we could have more children. Right now, we see probably about 50,000 kids a year throughout all of those 19 school-based clinics in the county. But we have capacity. We have more capacity for more kids to be
Well,
there.
why aren't the schools letting the parents know?
It's a wonderful question. It's a wonderful question. We send them information and we send it to the school nurses and a few of them that are still around, but I don't know. And Cook Children's has wonderful clinics as well. We do not do inpatient pediatrics. We have a neonatal ICU unit for new babies that may be born in distress. We partner very well with Cook Children's on any inpatient challenges that, if say we find a student in one of our clinics that has something that needs to be referred to a specialty or something more than just a primary care pediatrics,